Okay, good morning. May 8th, 2024. Welcome to the ELEC 1013 Network Cabling course, summer 2024. All right, so here is the main portal with my wonderful graphics. Guess where I got that from? I'll tell you later. But this here is our main class portal. And right off the bat, when you log in to, let's say, okay, here's our Fanshawe College FOL, Fanshawe Online. Now, my splash screen looks like this, because these are the courses that I'm assigned to this summer. Yours might look like a little bit different. You're going to have different courses that are assigned to you. Let's say this is here, ELEC 1013, 24 summer. There you go. Now, right off the bat, you can see my information. My name is Professor Buck. I'm Professor Buck. Please don't call me by my first name until you graduate. There you go. So theory, I'll be taking care of all the sections for theory and for the labs. I kind of like it that way. So here is my email right on the splash screen. Please refer to that. And you can communicate with me on that email. I usually answer within the same day. Sometimes depends on the situation. It might take me a day or so to respond. All right, now over here we have the announcements. This this section right here will be changing as we go along. What I will leave is that our YouTube playlist. So here's our YouTube playlist. You can click on that, and that YouTube playlist is going to keep populating. Let's see what's there now. Right. So I'm just going to right click on it and see open in a new tab. There you go. All right. So right now we have 3 videos in our YouTube playlist. Here is the work order preparation, and we already had the session with lab session with section 3 yesterday, which was Tuesday. So I cannot explain it, but I'm not sure if I showed that YouTube playlist link. All right. So here are 3 videos already: work order preparation, deliverables, how to prepare, and here is a link to the. Well, it's a converter. It's a converter online software. Website. You can convert different file formats. What I'm going to ask you is, as I said in the lab, please submit the lab sheets in the drop boxes that are going to be set up for us. In a PDF form. The reason for that is, and I'm going to repeat that, is that if you submit that thing in any other format, there is a chance that FOL is going to have a hard time with displaying it properly, or sometimes not displaying it at all, right? So do it in PDF, and it should be fine. And if you don't have a PDF converter plugin in your Microsoft or whatever processor you're using, here's the website that is going to, you can just visit, and you can convert your files into PDF. So we are, like this week, we're going through these 2 pretty much videos, but we're doing this thing live. But I would encourage you to watch these. One is 27 minutes and one is 18 minutes. Right? That is going to be the bread and butter of our existence here in this course. Every single lab that we do, we're going to prepare something that's called the deliverables. Right? What are deliverables? It's a documentation that is prepared upon a completion of any activity that you do at work. So, normally in college setting, you have you do labs, and you're requested to provide the lab documentation so you can be properly evaluated, right? In the real so-called real world at work, you prepare deliverables just like you do the lab sheets. So I have created the deliverables in a way that you will actually be doing this thing out in the world, in the real world, right? So I don't even call them lab sheets or lab documentation. I just call them deliverables. You will be hearing that a lot. You'll be using that a lot. It's going to be the quintessence of your existence while at work. All right, so here is the YouTube playlist. So here it is, and it's going to be. I'm going to stay that. Somebody already uploaded the lab. Good. All right. Now, if you go to content, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here and make myself look like a student. So I'm going to be showing you something that you will be seeing, not what I will be seeing. All right, so here's the main splash screen for the, or splash screen on the main class portal screen for our course. Couple things. If you go to content, you're going to see a couple of documents here right away, and that is part of the course outline. So if you click on that, you're going to see those two documents. The first document is the course outline. The other one is our roadmap to success, kids. Right? You can download this. It's a course plan. You can look at that if you want, and it tells you all the dates. I prepare it like that, all right? So here's just the main information on the course. Here's some more information, general info, midterm grades. You can see when you're going to get the midterm grades submitted, and final grades for me to enter is going to be on Tuesday, August 27th, and midterms are Friday, June 21st. All right, labs distribution we're going to do, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 labs, right? So the week we are doing the deliverables lab, right? And then look, 3 and 4 we're going to do 2 labs, weeks 3 and 4. 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Some of the weeks we're going to do the 1 only. Now you can see weeks, 2 weeks per lab session. But you're going to do 2 labs. I'm going to split the class in 2, or the groups in 2, and later on I'll post. I'll just see how it goes. I'll post the class lists of, let's say, yesterday we had section 3 show up. So the whole section 3 showed up. What we're going to do is we're going to split that section 3 into section 3A and section 3B. And I'm going to make a list of the students who is in which section. So let's say next week, section 3A is going to show up. And the week after that, section 3B, the other half of that section is going to show up. And we're going to do 2 labs each session. During the times that you don't show up to the lab, so you're going to come over to see the lab every 2 weeks, but you're going to do 2 labs instead of 1. During that time, it is your job to do the prep. And the prep is familiarizing yourself with what you're going to have to do. And I do have the videos that I made. I'm going to ask you to watch that. That's your job during the time that you're not in class, that you're preparing for it. And I really, really encourage you to watch those. I'm requesting you to watch those videos, because if you don't, first, you're going to be really uncomfortable in class. And 2, you are not going to get the full benefit of the course, and you paid money for it. So, you know, usually if I go to the store and I want to, I want to buy a brick of butter, and if I paid that money, whatever the $5 or $7 is now, then I want to take that butter with me. So here's the thing. Also, you pay the money for the course. Take the content with you. It's yours. All right, so we're going to do 9 labs altogether. Deliverables, we're going to do termination T568 plug. So this is just a computer cable plug. Then other different something that's called IDC, which is Installation Displacement Connection. Sounds very fancy, but it's actually a pretty simple idea. Then we're going to do platform 110, which is it's a type of connection. We're going to do toolless jacks, and then we're going to do something that's called the 25 pair cable. We're going to terminate that on something that's called a BIX platform. We're going to talk about the patch panels, and we're going to terminate one patch panel. Each of you is going to terminate one of the patch panels. Then at the end, the last lab is going to be the fiber optics, and we do have a pretty fancy schmancy machine that we just got last year. That was a replacement for the old one that we had. And we're going to perform a fiber optic fusion splice. Right? So you see here subsections A, subsections. So here's that well, roadmap for you to know when you're showing up, whether you're in section A or section B. So let's say this week I still have to do the section 1 and 2. So just show up, the whole section, please show up, because this is the first lab that we do, and we need to talk about something. We need to talk about some things. But then I'm going to make a list, and by dates, by weeks, we're going to you're going to know when you're coming. Now, sometimes if something happens that you have to do something, you have family something to do with the family, or whatever it is, that you're not able to join your lab session. Yes, you can join the other session. Just let me know. Don't make it a regular thing, but no big deal. If somebody needs to jump sections, just let me know. Again, once usually there is no problem with that. Once upon a time, somebody needs to jump sections for whatever reason. Please don't make it a regular thing. And there is no problem. Until there is, we're going to address it. And if there is no problems with people sometimes joining different sections, if there is no problem, then we're not going to change anything. Right? So just don't make it a regular thing. Right? As we know, June 20. So here's the weeks. Now, if you look at my class, this class portal here, and if you look at this my course plan, you're going to see week 1. Week 2, all the weeks. We have 14 weeks, and you can see the dates. So the way I organize that is week 1, first week, May 6th to May 10th. That means May 6th is Monday, and May 10th is Friday. So Monday to Friday, that's the week span. So whenever your class is, it's not necessarily on May 6th or May 10th. It's within that dates span, right? And week 2 here, short week, Victoria Day, so it's going to be week 3. I usually put those on so you can have some sort of reference to those things. Week 7, at the end of week 7, we're going to do midterm grades. Now, the week after week 7 is the no man's land week, right? Well, no man's land on this table here, because the week after that is going to be our 8th week. This is a study week, so June 24 to June 28, Monday to Friday, that's considered to be a study week, and there's no school, no classes, right? It's just for you to kind of rejuvenate, enjoy a little bit of summer. And now we don't have any labs, our class. Maybe with your other classes, maybe the situation is different, but in our class we don't have any class labs or classes on Mondays or Fridays. So that's good, bonus for us, for this course. So we don't have to struggle with rescheduling some labs, and sometimes it's a mess when that happens, when the labs is on Monday, because we got 3 holidays, and they're all Mondays, I think, right? Short week, May 20th. Okay. Here's week 3, May 20th, Monday, Victoria Day, holiday. Right? Then June 1st, Canada Day. That's week 8. Also a short week, Monday. Right? And week 13, August 1st, civic holiday. It's a short week. It's a holiday. We need a holiday, so there you go. So 1, 2, 3 Mondays, and we don't have any classes on Mondays. You might have other classes with other professors on Mondays. So, but that's up to them on how to solve those issues. All right. So here is that. Now theory. Here also again I did it by week. So this is course introduction and safety. This is during this week we're going to have that, and introduction to telecommunications. That's the part 2. So here's part 1, today's class. Right. Part 2. Here's the other class that we're going to have on, I think it's Thursday, as I said. And that's how I organize that. Right? We got 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour every week. 2 hours for theory, and everybody's going to get their lab as well. All right. So this is how you look at that. Now, also, again, I'm going to go back to the beginning of this. Here's our splash screen. You go to content. And see, here's student items. That is going to populate. That's for you to see. You click on that, and on the right side, things appear. I'm just going to collapse those. Here's how you navigate through that. Navigate through your left side of the screen, and then just grab things from the right side of the screen. So let's say again, course outline, student items, go here. See, I just chose course outline, and I just chose student items. And student items, you have lecture notes and labs here. And that's the same thing, but these are those folders. So instead of clicking on here, click on here. It's going to be so much easier. So let's say lecture notes. We don't have any lecture notes yet. So this week's lecture notes are going to appear in PDF on here, so you can download. Let's see your student items. There's also a labs folder. Labs. Oh, there's one item there. Click on that. Oh, there's lab 1 already. So you can download if you want, or you can view it. And this is our lab 1. Okay, and that is going to keep populating as we go along. Now, evaluations. Here, that's another tab. When you click on this tab, you're going to get some options. I'm not going to talk about the grades. That's for you to look at. But here's quizzes and submissions. If we do an online quiz, that's where you will find it, under the evaluations tab into quizzes. Now, there's another sub-menu here which shows submissions. That's when we go to upload our lab work. All right. So again, go to the class portal. That's where we are. Click on that. All right. Evaluations. All right. Submissions. Boom. And there's already one submission folder set up by me, and it is called Lab 1 Deliverables. So after you complete your Lab 1 paperwork, you click on this, and you can upload that your work there. So if I click on that, look what happens. First thing, evaluations, submissions, Lab 1 deliverables, boom. Okay, something is gone wrong here, because when you click on that, you're supposed to see the rubric, right? And we don't. Evaluation, submissions, starts May 6th. Oh, and today is May 8th, so that should be fine. View submissions and the submissions, Yeah, I'm getting some I'm getting some weird stuff happening here. So FOL sometimes, let me just see if I can turn off as a student. No, it's not going to work. Submissions, deliverables. Oh yeah, that's what we're going to see. As soon as you click on it, I'm looking at the student. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, I know. It kicked me out of the student mode. That's why. So as soon as you click on the evaluations, submissions as a student, and click on that lab 1, there's going to be lab 2, lab 3, and so on as we go along. Click on that. First thing you're going to see is the rubric. The rubric tells you what you will be evaluated on. So before you do that, before you submit, before you upload the file, just take a look at this rubric to see if you're missing something, and see if you're going to get any reasons to deduct the marks, for the marks to be deducted. Okay, so here is the criteria. Here are the levels. Just take a quick look, study it a little bit, and there are points assigned to each item there. Here is the total for this particular lab, total marks, and here is the marking scheme on what percentage counts for what, A plus, A, B plus, and so on. And then you're just going to submit the file, upload in PDF. All right, so that's as far as the navigation through the course. Is there any questions? Please, by all means. I think you're viewing. Yeah, yes, thank you. Thank you, KK. I'm just looking at the chat lines here. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about is, I'll just give you a little overview of what this whole thing is all about. All right, I'm going to start with slide number 10 to 24. Hopefully we'll get there. And if we don't have the time to do that, that's when we're going to use the time tomorrow, on Thursday, which is tomorrow, I think. Right? All right. I think Control L is the full screen. There we go. All right, so what's involved in no, it just doesn't show me the whole screen. All right, what is involved in structured cabling? Network cabling, structured cabling is the same thing. As I went along with my somewhat 30 years of experience, there were times that I would take a picture in certain situations. You're not going to get always into situations like that. Sometimes I found some settings that will be more peculiar than others, and I just, I took some pictures as a souvenir maybe, or maybe as some educational materials. So this was one of the fast food places in Toronto that I somewhere, it was close to downtown. I didn't like going there because the buildings are a little bit old and they're a little bit different than the new ones. And the request on the work order was, please locate the telephone line so and so. So I go in there. I thought it was going to be that fast food place fully operational, so I could just go in the back and find the telephone line, tell them where it is, and there it is. That was the idea. So when I showed up on site, I saw this. Well, it's a fully blown construction site. So you want me to locate the telephone line? Sure. I found this so-called Bix block, located the telephone line with a number. There it is. Call me when you're ready to connect your telephone. But it's probably, it will be like a month away, right? A month away. And sometimes you're going to see something like that. It will be a service call. Some of the equipment cabinets are not even closed because somebody else was there before you, and they just made a mess. So sometimes you're gonna have to clean up. So I just thought I would just put a couple of pictures like that, that just to kind of make things a little bit interesting. But not all of them. This is rare. Right? Well, depends on where you go. In Toronto, it's not so rare. All right. I put a click to watch, so I'm not going to click to watch. Once you download this presentation, which is going to be after tomorrow, you can click to watch some of the little short flashes on what's involved in cabling. What this is here. This is something that's called a LAN room. We will be studying that. LAN room is an acronym for Local Area Network. Local Area Network, LAN. So that's LAN room. This is the back of the patch panels or the equipment racks. These would be the patch panels. This would be the equipment. This would be the equipment racks. The standard so-called 19-inch rack, 19 inches from one side to the other. And the patch panels are connected to something that's called the field wiring. So there is a port right there, for example, that one there. It has a cable that goes somewhere to somebody's desktop, somewhere in the building. On the other side, there is a jack. This cable is terminated on the jack, and that jack is patched using a patch cord or patch cable into one of the switches. And switches are basically, in a nutshell, a switch. That's the whole. We're not talking about like a light switch on and off. This whole equipment here is a switch, and it has a bunch of ports. And the idea of that is to switch the communication channels between devices automatically. So it's almost like a traffic controller for the network. Notice that the cables are bound by, I'm not sure if you can see it or not. Oops. What did I do? I clicked on it and it starts. All right. Those are bound by Velcro. And there's a reason why we should bind the cables, network cables, by Velcro, not zip ties. Yes, once upon a time you're going to see zip ties, and I have done it, but you really need to know what you're doing when you can use zip ties, and if you do use zip ties, those plastic zip ties, then you really have to know what you're doing, and knowing where you can and how to do it. I will mention things like that to you, right? But as a general rule, Velcro, right? Now this here, it's a huge project, and it's a relatively good job that somebody has done on this one here. All right. Systems, what's involved? This course is called Network Cabling. Okay. It's not just so we can run a cable from point A to point B, terminate at both ends, and that's it. Well, a lot of situations are going to be like that, except you're not going to run a cable from point A to point B. You're going to run 600 cables from point A, and to point B, right? So when doing that commercially, there are certain ways of doing that, so things can be done quickly, well, relatively quickly, and safe, and in a way that you can actually make money. So, what is involved? What kind of systems you might encounter when you go into this type of, I call it so-called modern telecommunications field? Data infrastructure, that's all the computer networks. running the Cat5e cable, Cat6, connecting PCs, connecting wireless access points, connecting projectors, connecting printers, connecting. Oh, that's all the networking, and that's basically network infrastructure or data infrastructure. Telephony is a huge part of that. We're not going to talk about any cell phones because that's a different subject, but offices do have telephones. And we're going to study a couple of different approaches on how telephone systems are installed and used. I'm talking about the conventional telephone systems, and we're also going to talk about the VoIP, which is voice over IP telephone systems. Now, the VoIP becomes part of the data infrastructure. Those data and telephony used to be quite separate from each other. This would involve telephone cabling and connections. This would involve data infrastructure connections. Once VoIP, which is voice over IP telephones, telephony was introduced, which is on the market for a nice few years now, then the telephony becomes part of the data infrastructure. We will study that. Right? CCTV stands for closed circuit television systems. Systems is invisible. So that usually right now refers to the security surveillance right here. But I put that thing as two separate entities because let's say, for example, CCTV is very popular in high schools. If you have the broadcasting department, broadcasting class, so a lot of schools have the TVs installed in classrooms, so the broadcasting class can transmit their hard work that they accomplished during the whole week, and they do the week's news, and the whole school watches that on closed circuit television system. Now, CCTV also is exchangeable with the security surveillance. These are the security cameras. Pretty good business to install those, to service those. It's if somebody likes it, it's a pretty good. You can find yourself pretty good employment, or if you want to do this thing by yourself as your own business, that's also quite possible. Right? Security alarms, same thing. I will mention, we will talk about how security alarms work, how to install them, and I will also tell you how you can make money, because the purpose of you coming to school is to get the knowledge that you can find a job so you can support yourself, right? Right. So I'll show you how to, if you want to do this, because you can do this thing on your own, as your own business. I will also, if you choose that option, I will show you that route as well. Nurse call systems. What are nurse call systems? Nurse call systems are those buttons by the bed in a hospital. If somebody needs nurse's assistance, they press that button. Now, this is not just a wire connected to a light bulb, because that would be silly. These are all computerized systems. There are brands, different brands involved, and the installation of such systems can be quite complex. And whenever you work for a company that has one of those nurse call systems lines, there are different brands, then you'll be trained on how to install that particular system and how to service that. Fire alarms. Fire alarms require additional licensing, and if somebody wants to go into the fire, is interested in fire, as far as being a fire alarm or fire technician, talk to me. I will put you into the right route. Additional licensing is required for a fire alarm technician to be legit. And we do offer courses like that in our college as well. So talk to me if you're interested in that kind of stuff. PA, commercial, simple all call. PA stands for public address. So that usually involves sound systems. Now, sound systems can be different. Can be just a simple a couple of speakers installed in the ceiling in one of your local fast food places, so you can listen to some elevator music while you're waiting for your chicken. Or it could be cool PA systems, stage gear, theater, church, conference systems. We will study some of that as well. Access control. This is, well, what it says, access control. You get those key fobs or access cards. Some doors open for you, some doors don't, depending on what rights you are assigned. You have assigned to the card or the key fob that you're holding. And these are also computerized complex systems to install. Various different stages of installations are involved. Retail. Retail is a huge business when it comes to data infrastructure. We will talk about that more. All the cash registers, all the office manager computers, and everything else that is involved in retail business, it also has to be installed. Somebody has to do it, right? All right. Now, for the systems, what do we need? Working knowledge. What's involved? Installation, setup, commissioning, service, and, well, design and sales. Working knowledge, you have to have the working knowledge. Where do you get that working knowledge? Am I going to show you all the systems here in this 14 weeks? No. I'm going to show you the general idea. Where you get the working knowledge on the particular systems that you're going to be involved with, because there are a lot. It's impossible for me to show you that. It would take me 2 years, just a full time thing to show you everything. But where do you get the knowledge? Well, if a company hires you, there could be a person within the company that is going to train you on how to install or service this particular equipment. Or sometimes the representative, the company reps, they show up to the company that you work for and they do information or training seminars. So as you go along, as you work, as time goes by, you'll be participating in all kinds of information or training sessions, and that's how you build up your knowledge. Right? What's involved? Well, things have to be installed. They have to be set up. So installation is running wires, connecting terminals, all that groundwork that has to be done. Setup, well, usually involves programming of that particular system. Where do you get the knowledge on how to program that? Well, in the training sessions provided by the companies who sell that equipment. They want you to buy the equipment, so they will train you on how to use it. The more people know how to use their equipment, the more sales they get. So they do educate people on how to set up things, set things up. Commissioning, that sounds kind of mysterious, right? Commissioning is, once you install the whole system, let's say you have installed brand new VoIP telephone system in a company that's like a production plant, and it has a production plant and it has offices and some maybe other parts of the accounting or whatever. Right? So you set up the whole phone system. You have 300 telephones or 400 telephones within the whole company. And now, well, it's a new piece of equipment for the people that you have just, that hired you to do the job. You need to show them, present the system. After everything is done, they say, okay, so on Tuesday, let's get all the office people and we're going to show how to use the telephones, how to make a phone call, how to do a conference call, what are the restrictions, what are the permissions, if you need to bypass them, what you do, how do you make, how do you transfer the call, how do the receptionist, all the features, you're going to present that for the office personnel. Then maybe next day you're going to have another session for some other department, showing how things work after you have installed them. And I just use the phone system as an example, but pretty much everything else, you have to show them how to use that thing. Right? And of course, as time goes by, you will need to know how to service that thing. Sometimes somebody knocks off a cable. Somebody destroys a phone, you need to replace one. Sometimes somebody moves from one office to another, you need to do the little setup. This is also considered a service. And sometimes something goes wrong, you just have to go. So before you have that, all this here, design and sales is also part of it, this whole thing. If you work for a bigger company, those duties are split between people. But if you run your own small company, you're going to have to do all that. You have to design, first. Somebody needs a system, so you need to go and take a look what they need, what they have, what their building looks like, and what that. So you do this sometimes called a survey, and then based on that and their needs, you design a system. That's part of the sales. Design the system and throw that work at them, the paperwork. See if they choose to hire you to do the job, because sometimes when there's a project to be done, the companies price out their job. They get the quotes for how much it's going to cost from maybe 2 or 3 different companies, and hopefully they will choose you. All right. So, data. Mostly running cables, servicing equipment, replacing equipment, troubleshooting connections, setting up systems that you have wired already. A lot of traveling. Usually, with that one, you're going to spend a lot of time in your van or something that's called a working truck. And sometimes they buy you a phone. Sometimes they buy you a plane ticket, and they send you to a different province or different state, 500 kilometers away. Put you in a hotel, give you a week to install something. All right, telephony. I have 2 kinds here. Actually, hidden 3. This here is something, we're also going to, I'm just introducing you to the terminology, and we'll be studying that in a little bit more depth. This one here is, POTS. Plain old telephone service. It's the most basic landline that you can get. They still exist. You get one of these phones that you pick up, listen to the dial tone, dial the number, and make a telephone conversation. Now, also, you can have those in telephone systems that use POTS lines, POTS telephones lines. But this here telephone system involves another box that has to be somewhere on the wall, that these phones connect to that box, and that box connects to the outside world. And these are called telephone systems. And I call them the conventional telephone systems. So here's a POTS phone connects to the POTS line, and here is a proprietary telephone set. Why do I call it proprietary telephone set? It's because it connects to a specific type of a phone system. It connects to a specific type of a box made by that brand that accommodates this particular telephone model. So that's why this phone is proprietary to this, whatever the phone system is there. It could be Meridian, these are old systems. There are different systems right now. There are Panasonics, Toshibas are, quite popular as well. Now, we go to the other side. Contestant number 2 is the VoIP systems. VoIP stands for Voice over IP, Voice over Internet Protocol. Now, those can be connected to a box that is on site, and the box is not connected to the POTS lines. That box is connected to the network. Or that would be a locally installed system, telephone system. Or you can have hosted telephone service. Those telephones do not connect to any box on the wall. They connect to the computer network or the data network, just like any PC or any kind of a smart device would. Through the signal routing, the telephone signal goes to wherever the hosting company is located. It could be in a different city, it could be in a different country, it could be on a different continent. And that's how the phone signal is routed. And that's called a hosted system. There are benefits to one over the other. And we will also study that. There are also hybrid systems. You can have those proprietary telephones system connected to the box, and there's a way to connect the box instead of to the POTS lines. You connect the box to something that's called SIP lines, or called session initiation protocols. You don't have to write it down. We will study that. Basically, that box connects to the LAN, local area network. And then you can keep the proprietary telephone if you don't want to spend money on replacing all the equipment, because these can be pricey. And you can still use the VoIP service with all the benefits that VoIP has to offer. We will also study that. This is just an orientation class. Do not stress out. You don't need to write things down and all that stuff. All right. Now, CCTV, we'll have just few slides. So CCTV surveillance and security alarms, nurse call systems, fire alarms, and school PA systems. And well, there's church PAs, distributed audio. These are the ceiling speakers. Stage audio, that would be theaters or concert arenas and whatnot. Access control and retail, POS, point of sale. And there's some references here. Those we're going to cover quickly next time we see each other in person. And as long as some other stuff. So if you have some questions that you would like to ask me in person, just get them. So you can remember. And if you don't, we're going to enjoy the class anyways. All right. So I'll see you next time. Probably, I think it's on Thursday. And have a wonderful rest of the day. And as I always say, I will see you when I see you. Thank you so much.